Our Rumble podcast title, The Deep Dive, Decoding Katy Perry's Last Friday Night, and the record that tied Michael Jackson. Apple Podcast description. Join us on this deep dive as we unpack the fascinating history behind Katy Perry's 2011 smash hit, Last Friday Night, TGIF. How did a song inspired by a real-life night of streaking in a park become a monumental piece of pop music history? We explore the Wikipedia archives to uncover how this dance pop anthem dominated the Billboard Hot 100, shattered records to time Michael Jackson's Bad, and birthed an iconic, cameo-filled 1980s tribute music video. Whether you're a pop culture fanatic or a student of music history, discover the strategic genius and goofy charm that defined the teenage dream era. Keywords: Katy Perry, Last Friday Night, TGIF, Teenage Dream, Billboard Hot 100 record, Michael Jackson Bad, pop music history, Mark Klasfeld music video, 2010s pop culture.
Have you ever woken up after a really wild, blurry night out, piecing together the events of the evening and thought to yourself, you know what, I should turn this massive headache into a piece of music history that literally shatters chart records?
Probably not.
Right, probably not. I mean, most of us we just drink a massive glass of water and really hope no one tagged us in any photos. But today, we're taking a deep dive into the story of someone who did exactly that. Welcome to the show. We're thrilled you're here with us.
Absolutely.
Today, our source material is the comprehensive Wikipedia archive on Katy Perry's 2011 absolute smash hit, Last Friday Night, or TGIF. Our mission today is to figure out how this really bouncy track about debauchery achieved a completely historic chart milestone.
It is a phenomenal topic to explore with you all. I mean, we all remember when she finally tied Michael Jackson's record, but looking back, it's wild that this was the specific song that pushed her over the finish line.
Okay, let's unpack this, because on the surface, Last Friday Night just feels like a disposable, fun party anthem. It's light, it's bouncy. It was the fifth single from her massive Teenage Dream album. But there is so much more going on under the hood here. We're going to break down its literal real-life origins, the completely divided critical reception it received, and of course that absolutely unforgettable music video that took over the internet.
What's fascinating here is that behind this seemingly chaotic party girl facade lies an incredibly strategic, almost flawless execution of pop music mechanics.
Oh, completely.
When you look at the personnel involved, Katy Perry working alongside pop super producers Dr. Luke and Max Martin and co-writer Bonnie McKee, you're looking at a masterclass in musical architecture.
Yeah, the dream team of the 2010s.
Exactly. They didn't just write a fun song about a hangover. They engineered a cultural juggernaut that was built from the ground up to dominate radio stations and digital storefronts alike.
And the craziest part to me is how literal the inspiration was. When we listen to pop music, especially from that era, we usually assume the lyrics are, highly exaggerated, or just made up by a committee in a boardroom.
Right, written to a formula.
But Perry has been very open about the fact that the song is practically a documentary of a specific night. Let me set the scene for you. Perry and her friends, including her co-writer Bonnie McKee, they were hanging out in Santa Barbara.
Her hometown.
Yes, her hometown. They went out to a club called Wildcat, and apparently things got completely out of hand.
According to the source material, McKee specifically noted that the song encapsulated what she called their wild drinking days. It wasn't just a vague concept of a Friday night party. It was a very specific capturing of lightning in a bottle.
Perry actually said, and I quote, "We had a couple of beers and danced until we died, then brought the party back to the hotel room."
Sounds right for your early 20s.
And she admitted that the part of the song about streaking in the park, completely true.
No way.
Yes, they literally went streaking in a park in Santa Barbara, and the very next day they decided they just had to write a song about it. She joked that most of the song is the actual truth, except, unfortunately for her, the ménage à trois mentioned in the lyrics.
Wow, creative liberties.
Just a few.
It's that grounding in reality that gives the song its very specific, tactile, chaotic energy. But what makes it work for you, the listener, isn't just the wild story. It's how that story is delivered musically.
Right, the architecture you mentioned earlier.
Yes. If we look at the composition, Last Friday Night is classified as a dance pop and new wave track with distinct elements of indie rock woven in. Interestingly, it was recorded across several studios, Conway Recording Studios in 8714 in Los Angeles, and Playback Recording Studio right there in Santa Barbara.
Which is a nice full-circle moment for the song's origin.
It really is.
It has this relentless, driving feel to it. You were looking at the sheet music earlier. Is there a formula to this? Why does it sound so unbelievably catchy?
It comes down to the map of the music. The track runs for 3 minutes and 50 seconds in its album version. It's set in common time with a moderate, steady tempo of exactly 126 beats per minute.
126. Why is that specific number important?
That 126 BPM is crucial. It's the exact heartbeat of a standard dance floor track. If it were 130 or 135, it would feel too frantic, like a techno track. If it were 120, it would drag. 126 keeps you moving without exhausting you.
That makes perfect sense.
Furthermore, it's notated in the key of F-sharp major, or G-flat major, and Perry's vocal range spans a ninth, from C-sharp 4 to D-sharp 5.
That elevated register is why she sounds like someone excitedly yelling over the music at a loud club to tell you a story.
Exactly. And beneath those vocals is a looping chord progression. It goes from B to G-sharp minor 7 to D-sharp minor 7 to C-sharp, and it resolves on the tonic.
Wait, hold on. Before we go further, for someone just listening in their car right now, what does resolving on the tonic actually mean in layman's terms? Like, how does that actually feel to the listener?
Think of the tonic as home base. When a chord progression moves away from the tonic, it creates musical tension. Your brain subconsciously wants that tension to be released. Resolving on the tonic brings the ear back home.
Oh, I see.
It makes you feel a sense of completion, but also perfectly sets you up to start the loop all over again. This formulaic, relentless looping progression mathematically mirrors the nonstop energy of a great party. It never truly drops you, it just keeps cycling back up, pulling the listener right back into the center of the dance floor.
It's funny, though. You can engineer a song mathematically to be a massive hit, but you cannot engineer a music critic to actually like it.
Very true.
It is wild to look back at the reviews from 2010 and 2011 because music critics can be so incredibly polarized when they are faced with pure, unadulterated pop music.
The critical divide on this song perfectly illustrates the tension between high art music criticism and commercial pop perfection. Critics often just don't know what to do with a song that just wants you to have fun.
Stephen Thomas Erlewine from AllMusic picked it as one of the top tracks on the Teenage Dream album. He noted that Perry salutes fellow attention whore Keisha on the track.
That's a very 2010s comparison.
It really is. And Jason Richards from Now Magazine had a really great take. He compared it to the Black Eyed Peas' I Got a Feeling and Lady Gaga's Just Dance. He admitted the song was derivative, but said it strikes a perfect equilibrium between Perry's sex appeal and goofy, self-effacing charm.
That goofy, self-effacing charm is the crucial ingredient. Without it, the song might just come off as arrogant or bragging about a wild night. The charm tempers the debauchery.
But Matthew Cole over at Slant Magazine did not buy into that charm at all. He called the song a lifeless roller rink jam that was meant to be the soundtrack for trashy sorority parties.
It's a harsh critique, but it's also incredibly revealing about who the critic perceives the audience to be, rather than engaging with what the song is structurally trying to achieve.
Definitely.
He's dismissing the demographic, young women having fun, just as much as he's dismissing the track itself. But the most interesting critique, sociologically speaking, came from Chris Richards at the Washington Post.
Yes, I wanted to bring this one up.
He noted that the song mixes innocent transgressions, like skinny dipping, with more serious things like a blackout and mysterious bruises.
Right. But his biggest issue was with Perry's delivery of a very specific line. When she sings, "That was such an epic fail," he wrote that she stiffly sings it, and that it sounds like a clueless parent's attempt to speak teenager.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this specific critique highlights a recurring blind spot in music criticism. Critics often struggle to evaluate intentionally campy, highly self-aware pop music.
They take it too literally.
Exactly. When Perry sings epic fail a bit stiffly, she isn't failing to speak teenager. She's playing a character. The slight ridiculousness, the almost plastic delivery of that internet slang is exactly why it resonates.
It's supposed to be a bit silly and dramatic, just like a teenager waking up after their first big party.
Precisely. Missing that layer of irony is missing the entire point of Perry's persona during the Teenage Dream era.
She was absolutely in on the joke. And frankly, the joke paid off on a scale that I don't think anyone, not even her team, fully anticipated. Here's where it gets really interesting and why we are still talking about this song over a decade later.
The charts.
Yes. We have to talk about the commercial performance because Last Friday Night wasn't just a hit song, it became a historic, record-breaking event.
It truly was a behemoth. But the chart journey of this song is a masterclass in record label strategy and endurance. It didn't just instantly rocket to the top and stay there. It had to fight tooth and nail for it.
The song originally debuted at number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then it completely dropped off the chart, just vanished.
Which is pretty standard for album cuts before they become official singles.
Right. But following its official release as a single, it re-entered the Hot 100 on June 18th, 2011 at number 63. And from there, it began this massive climb, driven by huge digital sales. But getting to number 1 was an agonizing wait for her team because it ended up stalling out at number 2 for 3 solid weeks.
Any guess? Who was blocking her from hitting that number 1 spot?
I have no idea. Was it Adele? Or maybe Rihanna? Someone like that.
Actually, it was LMFAO's party rock anthem.
Oh my gosh, of course. Talk about a battle of the ultimate party songs. The summer of 2011 was clearly just one giant club.
It really was. But on August 17th, 2011, last Friday night, finally conquered the summit and reached the number 1 position on the Billboard Hot 100, where it stayed for 2 straight weeks.
And this is the moment where music history was made. By hitting number 1, Katy Perry became the first woman in the entire 53-year history of the Billboard Hot 100 to have 5 number 1 singles from the exact same album.
A monumental achievement.
The album, of course, being Teenage Dream. Before Perry, only one other artist in the history of recorded music had ever achieved this, and that was Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson did it with his legendary album Bad, with his 5th number 1 single from that record, Dirty Diana, hitting the top spot on July 2, 1988.
Wow.
It took 23 years for anyone to tie that record.
It is absolutely mind-blowing when you put it in that context. The King of Pop and Katy Perry, that's the list. And the raw numbers behind this song are just staggering.
Let's hear them.
In the U.S. alone, the single has been certified 6 times platinum by the RIAA, selling nearly 4 million digital copies worldwide. As of May 2022, it had sold over 9.4 million copies.
And radio play was a massive driver of this. According to Nielsen Broadcast Data Systems, it was the 10th most played single on U.S. radio in all of 2011, with 450,000 plays.
Imagine hearing that song 450,000 times.
You couldn't escape it.
But to push it over the edge and secure that final number 1 spot, her label, Capitol Records, didn't just sit back and hope for the best while LMFAO held the top spot. They pulled out a brilliant strategic move.
The remix.
Yes. In August 2011, they released a remixed version featuring the legendary rapper Missy Elliott to radio and digital retailers. That extra burst of sales and airplay was the rocket fuel it needed to finally dethrone LMFAO.
It was a perfectly timed maneuver. It shows the sheer force of will from the pop music machine. And we also have to credit the visual component of this campaign.
Oh, the music video?
The music video for Last Friday Night wasn't just a promotional tool. It was an event in and of itself, perfectly engineered for the internet age.
Directed by Mark Glassfeld, this video introduced the world to an alter ego that nobody expected from one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. We meet Kathy Beth Terry.
An iconic character.
Truly. The character was a teenager with a mouthful of heavy braces, intense headgear, and oversized glasses. Perry noted that the costume was heavily inspired by America Ferrera's character Betty Suarez from the TV show Ugly Betty.
It was genuinely jarring at the time to see a massive sex symbol intentionally make herself look deeply uncool. This was long before TikTok cringe comedy was normalized.
And they didn't just drop the video. They built a whole cinematic universe around her. They created real Facebook and Twitter profiles for this 13-year-old brace-faced nerd-turned-hottie. She was tweeting, making Facebook posts.
Engaging directly with fans in character.
Exactly. When the Facebook page crossed 500,000 likes, Perry even did an exclusive interview with Digital Spy entirely in character as Kathy Beth Terry. She also did character interviews with Cosmopolitan and BOP Tiger Beat.
It was pioneering viral marketing. By building a narrative outside the song before the video even premiered, they guaranteed an audience that was already invested in the character's storyline.
And the video itself is the ultimate love letter to the 1980s. The director, Mark Glassfeld, specifically cited John Hughes' films like 16 Candles as the primary inspiration. Even the bloopers during the end credits were inspired by the movie The Cannonball Run.
The premise is brilliant. Kathy Beth Terry wakes up in a wrecked house completely puzzled and goes online only to find compromising photos of herself from the night before. Then we get the flashback.
And the flashback is basically a parade of the most incredible, surreal cameos you could ask for in 2011. Kathy is doing a Sudoku puzzle, hears loud music, and goes next door to complain.
And who opens the door?
None other than internet sensation Rebecca Black. This was a direct, brilliant homage to Black's own highly polarizing viral hit, Friday. Rebecca Black actually brings Kathy inside and gives her a makeover, literally ripping off her headgear with pliers and waxing her upper lip.
The synergy of having Rebecca Black guest star in a Katy Perry song about Friday is peak internet-era pop culture. But rather than just listing who was in the video, we have to look at why this specific blend of internet viral stars and 80s icons was a genius marketing strategy.
It hit every demographic.
Exactly. It bridged two entirely different generations of pop culture consumers.
You have Darren Criss and Kevin McHale from the massive hit TV show Glee playing partygoers, capturing the teen audience of the moment.
Which was huge in 2011.
Massive. There is a great scene where Kathy and Rebecca are playing the Just Dance video game, specifically Just Dance 2, dancing to Donna Summer's Hot Stuff, which is a fun nod since Perry's own songs were featured in that game franchise.
And then, as the party moves to the backyard, the video pivots to capture the older demographic. The house band playing in the yard is the pop rock band Hanson.
My absolute favorite detail is when Uncle Kenny shows up to play the saxophone solo on the roof of the house, and Uncle Kenny is played by the actual Kenny G.
Incredible.
Though I do have to point out a little trivia here for you. Kenny G is actually just miming the performance in the video. The real saxophone solo you hear on the track was recorded by Lenny Pickett.
The video culminates with the ultimate 80s teen movie resolution. Kathy passes out, wakes up thrilled to find a football player in her bed, and then her parents come home to confront her about the destroyed house.
And who plays her parents?
80s teen icons Corey Feldman and Debbie Gibson.
Perfection.
They forgive her, of course, after remembering their own wild youth. By merging the early 2010s internet virality of Rebecca Black with the deep 80s nostalgia of Feldman and Gibson, the video became a 4-minute cultural touchstone that appealed to literally everyone.
The public agreed. The video went on to win the Favorite Music Video Award at the 38th People's Choice Awards. It translated incredibly well to the live stage, too. Perry performed it everywhere, from the launch of the album in Berlin to the California Dreams Tour, the Prismatic World Tour, Witness the Tour, her play residency, and even the upcoming Lifetimes Tour.
It's a staple.
There was a legendary televised performance at Rock in Rio, broadcast by Multishow, where they projected photos of actual fans on the screens during this song. It became an interactive anthem.
That level of multimedia integration, the touring, viral video marketing, radio dominance, and strategic remixes, shows exactly why this song achieved what it did.
So what does this all mean? When we take a step back and look at the whole picture, Last Friday Night isn't just a disposable, silly party track about drinking too much and streaking in a park.
Not at all.
It is a masterclass in pop songwriting. It's an example of brilliant, outside-the-box marketing. And it proved to be a cultural juggernaut that secured Katy Perry a permanent spot right next to the king of pop in the Billboard record books.
A well-deserved spot.
The next time you hear a seemingly simple pop song come on the radio or stream on your phone, I want you to remember this story. Remember the meticulous mathematical architecture, the deliberate chord progressions, and the massive coordinated strategy operating just beneath the surface of that easy breezy beat.
This raises an important question, though, as we look to the future of music.
What's that?
The teenage dream era, and this song in particular, relied heavily on massive, coordinated radio pushes and digital iTunes downloads to tie a record that Michael Jackson set back in the physical vinyl and cassette era of 1988.
Right, totally different ecosystems.
We have now moved into a landscape dominated by highly fragmented streaming platforms and the fleeting, unpredictable nature of TikTok virality. With attention spans more divided than ever, will we ever see a single album or a single pop campaign universally dominate the cultural conversation and the charts in this exact monolithic way ever again? Or was Katy Perry's tying of the record the last gasp of the traditional pop music monoculture?
That is a fascinating thought to leave on. The landscape has definitely shifted. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into pop history. We hope you enjoyed exploring the hidden depths of your everyday playlists with us. Until next time, keep listening closely.